What's going on, people? Turn it off. It's Wednesday evening, the 20th of February. This date is significant because it is my grandmother's birthday, although she's been gone a long, long time. My dad's mom, both sides of my family were musical, but my grandmother was friends, my dad, her son, was friends with a lot of jazz greats, and so was she. And she loved good music and had a cool stereo, and I have great memories from boyhood, sitting in front of the Grundig, actually laying on the ground, and just watching it spin. It had this interesting green weight. Some of you Europeans remember that item. Certain German high-quality stereos had these weights that you would put, and they were weird. Okay, all right. So I'll talk a little bit. It's the evening, and I'm laid back. It's too late to have some coffee, but I thought I'd go ahead and talk a little bit because I just received a copy of something else that I played on, and it's kind of been a bit of a revelation. I really am enjoying my life, especially artistically. What I'm talking about is another project that I became involved with through my friendship and work with Bret Hart. Here we have a brand new recording on CD, Walter Whitney and Bret Hart, Creepy Clown, Ice Cream Truck. This is a very, very cool. I think I'm going to play some of it too. My appreciation of what Bret does is increasing. I'm getting perspective. This really surprised me. I play on one track, and interestingly enough, and Bret will tell you, when I was working on the track, I knew what I was doing for the track, but I didn't get what the track was about overall until I got the CD yesterday and listened to it in context, and then heard the other things going on this musically, because it's not all the same. The thing I'm on reminds me a bit of The Residents, but there's some really cool ambient stuff on here, and I'm going to endeavor to try to play something if my... I don't remember which one it was that I thought was really super cool, but I'm going to put this one on, the last one, Plausible Deniability Sucks. And again, besides Walter Whitney and Bret Hart being the main people behind this, Dave Newhouse from Muffin's Man of Mirage is on here. Jerry King on guitar is on here. And the other folks' names, I look kind of familiar, but I don't know them. This is cool, the way it develops. It's very spacey. Oh, this is so good. I gotta turn it down now and talk a little bit. Again, I was surprised at how... I just have to say it. It's like I like the stuff I've been doing with Bret, but this, again, was like... I really like what I'm doing with Bret, but this sounds nothing like that. And I really like this. And I can hear the Bretness of this, and I'm just now becoming familiar with Walter. For example, the track that I play on, there's a vocal recording of this woman. Apparently it's Walter's wife. When I was working on the track, I didn't quite get what was going on. I do now, and it's like, whoa, wow. You know what I mean? This is really... I feel blessed, to be involved in all this music that is really good. It also comes with a sticker, this huge sticker. It's one of those kind where, you apply it and then you take it off, and then I don't know what I'm going to put it on just yet. But I'll put the link to this. It also comes sealed. It's the limited edition. These are sealed with these stickers on the outside of the plastic. So I peeled them off and stuck them on the inside here. Really a neat project. Very cool. Very cool. I'll talk a little bit more about music that I'm listening to. Charlie, if you happen to see this, I'm going to probably say more about Lost Crowns because this is so good. It still hasn't really settled in. Recently, I showed you where Arthur sent me this magazine and this single. This is apparently Light in the Attic's first in a series they're starting of covers. Artists doing covers of their favorite contemporary artists. So this is Mac DeMarco. I was kind of, saying I didn't think much of Mac DeMarco, and then some folks saying, hey, and then I listened to it. And Mac does a beautiful version of this Hosono song, Honeymoon. It's in a different key than the original. It's in a lower key. And the B-side is the original by Hosono. It's on this beautiful vinyl. Heavy vinyl too, probably 180 gram. Isn't that sweet? Thank you so much, Arthur. You have been beyond kind. So many wonderful gifts. People are just kind of blow my mind. And I also forgot, I hope I can dig it up, but when I got that package of chameleon stuff, there was also a key ring. And I meant to set it. Here it is, yeah. I appreciate these gifts so much, people. What does this say? Regarding Manchester, view from a hill. And it's some kind of coin, I believe. Maybe? 2 shillings. Keyring. I appreciate this stuff so much. And it's about the music. I keep hearing from people constantly about thanking me for turning them on to stuff that they didn't know about. And it's just, I'm happy to do it. And it still kind of just amazes me, all this good music that it seems like just a small amount of people know about. But I was just playing at the beginning of this. Do you know this band In the Nursery? Twins, 2 twins. Oh my goodness. That's a whole nother aside I want to try to remember before I go on too much further. My twins, nephews. In the Nursery, I think these guys are English. I think their background is they were military drummers. Sometimes this is associated with goth or cold wave. To me, it's kind of sort of classical sounding, but it's got this melancholy. That's what I like about it. And this album, L'Esprit, in particular, don't sound like Dead Can Dance, but kind of, you can almost see it in the graphic. You know what I mean? That kind of approach, that kind of area of being, kind of like people that are like hair metal. That's a whole section of of the room. Dead Can Dance, maybe In the Nursery. My mind kind of clogs now. This is really good. It just came up because we just got a bunch more snow, and it just is music that goes along with snow. Here's an electronic 12-inch that it's the only thing I have by this guy, but it's very hypnotic. Came out in 2003. Oliver Hock, Polar, on the Traum Schallplatten label. Just 2 songs. but very hypnotic. It crackles, and it's hypnotic. It crackles, and I love stuff like this. You know, you folks who know that several of the last few things I put out have been primarily electronic. Yeah, I love electronic music. So a couple of quick things. I'll leave a link, but my great nephews live in California, and they're models. They're called the Higgins twins. Recently, they were featured in a big ad campaign for dang it, I forget that company's name, but the latest is Adidas, and I'll put the link here because they're in this big ad campaign. Plus, there's a video, and they are just, I'm so proud of them. Young men, I think maybe they're like 20, 21 now, twins, and they just have this look. They have the Higgins look, and I'm just so proud of them. They look so good. And I'm happy for them to be having professional success in this crazy world. So that's one thing. And I wanted to say something else. I'll just keep going, okay? Music in life. I forget where I was going to go besides that. You know, more music though, okay? Twins. Pulled this, hadn't played this in a while. Torch. Kind of a metally, punky, you know, grungy kind of band even. I saw them. I can't remember who it is now that I saw them open for. They opened for somebody, and they really blew me away. They had a lot of energy, and there was a melodic. The stuff was kind of melodic as well as heavy. And so I bought a couple of records, colored vinyl. As often is the case, I don't catch the words, what's going on here. But they're feeling it, man. I like this. Torch. A reissue, apparently, of their first album. This is an album that I bought used. I like it when I can afford to just try things out that I don't know about over the years. String Cheese. Goes back to the 70s. They sound like the band It's a Beautiful Day. You know who I'm talking about? They had that song White Bird, My Glasses Are All Crooked. Oh well. 1971 on the Wooden Nickel label, the label that originally brought us Styx. Styx were on this label originally. And really hippie vibe on this, you know. Some of it is a bit much, but mostly this is really good. Flute playing, interesting songwriting. Actually, recently I was going through a bunch of CDs where I burned music. I go through periods of obsessiveness, doing things to occupy my time. And years ago, I just, when I was still kind of new to spending time on the internet, I would just look for music, and there would be these sites where there'd be all these artists doing music, electronic and just different stuff, where they didn't have records out, or the databases of stuff weren't as complete as they are now. And so finding information was piecemeal. And so I would end up making all these compilation CDs of stuff as I would find it. And then what I would do is I would buy these CD labels because it was all new to me. And I would decorate them, you know, find art, and then make a cover and then put the label on the CD with the art. Come to discover later that a lot of those CDs would not play all the way through because of the CD labels. And if you other folks discovered that? And I would play these on multiple players trying to. So recently I went through a bunch of them, just, you know, finally going through the ones, what plays, what doesn't play, and threw a bunch out. So I was listening to a bunch of CDs. So this But let me see. There's got to be a few things here that I haven't shown. I've shown all those. Okay, here's a couple things. So you know about the artists Edgar and Johnny Winter, the albinos from Texas. And Edgar Winter had the huge hit with Frankenstein and had a couple other hits, didn't he? But his first solo album, Entrance, is a progressive jazz rock almost masterpiece, I'll say, almost. Side one is a suite called Entrance. It's killer. I knew about this and this is my second copy. My older brother, somehow we ended up with a copy of it shortly after it came out. So, and I already liked Johnny Winter too, even though I'd say I'm not much of a blues liker, but Johnny Winter was so rock and roll. It don't matter anyway. I just like Johnny, and he's on here too. But I was just playing this. This is 1970. Edgar Winter, Entrance. Plays a myriad of instruments on this. Showed this online, and it caused a bit of a conversation. And someone was sharing that they knew that this almost didn't get put out because the record company was, they had signed him, and they not obviously, but if you don't know, everything is about the bottom line in business and music, even though it's an art and it makes life worth living. The reason why we have it like this is because it has been approached as a business. And so in the business, the bottom line is money. So they wanted Edgar to start out with something, with a hit. We want a hit, And he does Tobacco Road on here, but this is really pretty wild. It's pretty experimental. Great album. Well, I went on about that for a while, didn't I? What else have I got here see, because I was playing stuff and then I put it away. Come on, there's got to be at least, okay. I believe this band is from Peru. This is a reissue, again from the 70s. The name of the band is Traffic Sound. This is their second album, and it's a psychedelic pop sound where you can definitely tell that it's a band that has been inspired by the Beatles, but it's got its own cool, the word psychedelic fits. There's swirling and long droning parts. This is 1970, 71 when this came out. Out of Peru. Virgin, Traffic Sound. Found out about this from reading, just wanting to know about collectible records and records that are considered progressive rock and psychedelic rock must-hears. And this is one of them. I finally was able to get a copy of it reissued. This is a vinyl version of excerpts from Outside. It's not the whole thing. I have the CD where David Bowie has all the story and whatnot in between the songs, but this is all the songs on vinyl, and it really works like that. David Bowie, because he has always been interested in just finding out, kind of like Miles Davis and some other musicians, kind of finding out what people are going to do with ideas that he throws out. He knows when he likes it. Miles is the same way. It's not like he can say, this is exactly what I want you guys to do. It's more like he'll have this idea, get that out, and then when things start to happen, that's what I'm trying to say, is this is really good. All kinds of things happening sonically as well as musically. And David playing around with his voice, with electronics outside. Love it. Hadn't played me Bill Nelson in a long time, the man who first came to my attention in the band Bebop Deluxe. This is one of his, I think this album came out as part of a box set, which I don't have. I just happened to find this used. But this is Bill Nelson's Chamber of Dreams, Music from the Invisibility exhibition. 1984, something like 1984. And because Bill Nelson did all the music himself and used what he had to his, what was available to him, a lot of this music has a datedness because of the drum machines that he used, the sounds, okay? But when you just look past that, because it can be an obstacle to the ear, a certain, so it's like these are just wonderful. This is all instrumental. He did a lot of records that are all instrumental. And I relate to his approach where he's just making these, they're like pictures, they're like paintings, little paintings, Some of them have a purpose, some of them don't. When they're created. Sometimes when you make music, if there's a purpose for the music, it kind of presents itself afterwards. But Bill Nelson, great artist. And I had a couple of other things out here. The Love That Whirls, Bill Nelson. I'm sure some of you folks like Bill Nelson. Reminds me, Pat, you asked me, do I have Jwakti? I have one album. I'm trying to see if I didn't pull it. I've heard a couple of their albums where they make all their instruments. Beautiful music, brother. Yes. Uakti, Uakti. I know I have one album. It's probably over there. Here's a promo, and I just printed this picture and put it on it. It's a promo from Love That Whirls called Half Nelson. Bill Nelson. If you don't know him, check him out. Came back to this band. Saw them about 4 or 5 years ago. And it's like they're a modern progressive folk band. Folk progressive, I would say. Sid Arthur. Really liked this band. Forget about them. You just kind of forget. And then, okay, that was it. But I put it away. I came across where a friend of mine recorded Sid Arthur when I saw them in Omaha. He bootlegged the show, not to sell, just for enjoyment, and made me a copy, which led me to play this so I could title the songs. And I met the guys. Raven Bush is Kate Bush's nephew, the keyboardist, violinist in this band. He doesn't talk about that at all. I love name dropping. It's fun. To me it's fun. Being in little Omaha here, you know what I'm saying? I'm not on the coast in a big city or even in Chicago where you can be, as they say, jaded because everyone is all around all the time. So it's cool to have these associations with known people. But not just known. To me, these are people with integrity, artists. Sid Arthur, I think this is their second album, Sound Mirror, signed by all the band. Really good album. Some swag from the show there. Really good band. Anything else here? Yeah. Because I'm going to let this upload overnight, and it'll take anywhere from 3 to 4, maybe even longer hours, literally, to upload a half-hour video. Isn't that just doesn't, anyway. Chrome. One of my highlights of last year was having the opportunity to open up a Chrome show and meet Helios Creed. This is a 12-inch of theirs, In Worlds, with Danger Zone. In a Dream in Danger Zone. Great songs. He did Danger Zone. It has, in my opinion, one of his signature guitar solos where he does this thing, and it's like, how does he do it? And when I saw him play it live, he didn't quite get it. Because it's a unique thing that he does, and I've only heard a couple of other, I can't think of the other guitar player right now, but I've heard who's been able to create this very weird, it's not a vibrato, it's a vibrato, but it's more. It's hard, it's Danger Zone. Listen to the solo in here and you know what I mean. It's real cool. I was playing that over and over for a couple times. I like it when I like a song, I'm just, kind of a nerd about it. I just play it over and over again. There's so much music I play that I don't show you, and it's like, And then I can't think of it to just even mention because I listen to so much, all kinds of music. And here's what I wanted to say. You know, one of the reasons why I'm not going on about Black History Month at all is because I'm black all the time. And so this whole idea of Black History Month, you know, I've said it before. It's like, you know, I almost feel like honoring it is for the sake of someone who, I don't know who it is because it's not for mine. My history is the history of America. This goes back to my high school days. Sugarloaf, 1970, Green-Eyed Lady. Boy, I'm dating myself, but this is great stuff. I went to Creighton Prep, which is an all-boys Catholic high school here in Omaha. I got to go there because I was a good student. You know, I got a partial scholarship there along with my older brother. And because of the fact that it's a school with money, their sock hops, they had cool bands. You know, I didn't see some of the coolest, but I saw some real cool ones. Sugarloaf, Tommy Bolin and Energy. I missed Chase. I didn't get to see Todd Rundgren or Bob Seger, but Ball and Jack played. Cradle, that was one. Okay, see, that's one that just came back to me. I was researching something, led me to looking up Cradle, which was this all-girl band that played at my high school when I was on the sock hop committee. And I had to pay them, and I messed up and paid them too much money, which led me getting kicked off the committee. They thought I stole the money. I didn't. That was Susie Quattro. They blew me away, and I remember being blown away trying to pay them and talk to them. I was just like 16 at the time, and you know, I wasn't on the sock hop committee very long because mainly I did it so I could go to more shows. And Cradle, look it up. There's a retrospective CD, and that's them. You know, I met Susie Quattro, didn't even know who she was. About the same time as I saw Sugarloaf. These guys were really good too. And they were nice because it was in our high school gym. And I'm just a nerdy kid bugging these guys, you know, oh, your clothes. And they were nice. It was a good show. That's really what I put everything else away. But it's 27 minutes already. And I know that some of you folks could let me talk and go on, couldn't you? I think I want to just jump back and say two things about, well, back to this, has it been found? I've still got this sitting out because I haven't penetrated this yet. There's a reason why Discus Music put this out, and I'm going to hear it. It's going to get through to me. It hasn't yet. When it does, I'll talk about it, okay? But the video I just put up with Mark Stanley and Carla Dereck, so pleased with working with them. Very pleased with the response. I love the video. It's made the song into a single. It's stuck in my head now. I love the fact that my latest favorite song, I'm playing the bass on it. This is just, it's a dream come true for me here in Omaha. Trying to put it in context for you folks, you know, if you can't understand why I go on like this, you know. A black kid from North Omaha. Omaha is extremely racist. They still don't recognize my part of the city correctly. A quick rant. Omaha is so bullshit that the radio stations here, one of the primary shows is a blues show. I find that so fucking hypocritical and colonial racist, and I hate it because the station is always playing the blues in a town that treats black people still like second class or third class citizens. It's fucking bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I just have to say those things. You know what I'm saying? And it all goes along with why my involvement and connection worldwide with all these wonderful musicians now everyone from the people I forget to mention, and I'll start with trying to remember some folks like Greg Siegel and Jerry King. These guys are on these records I play on. And I got to get back and listen to their stuff some more. I've got some of their stuff. Dave Newhouse, Carla Duratz. Carla, her voice, your voice. Wow, what a force. You're one of my favorite singers now. Holy shit. I'm on a record with you, Carla. You're so badass. Guy Seggers from Universe Zero, one of my favorite rock and oppositions bands. We banter all the time. He doesn't watch, but Mick Conroy from Modern English, and he's in a new band with Mickey, who was in Lush. He's my friend. We just talked. I'm going to be in this documentary about a legendary club that's been torn down in Lincoln called the Drumstick, where everyone from Nick Lowe to Modern English to REM to just Snakefinger played there. Just all these amazing. I played there. I was just interviewed for it because I had posted these pictures where when Modern English played, I was writing for a fanzine and I loved them and knew, so I was going to interview them because they were underground. They hadn't had the hit with Melt With You yet, although that was the album that was just about to break. So anyway, posting those pictures finally on Facebook led to the people from the Drumstick seeing them, contacting me, say, we're doing this documentary, we'd never seen these pictures, yada, yada, yada. And so they came up to Omaha and we did the interview here, videotaped it. And then they said they're trying to get in touch with whoever they can who played there. And they said, we'd love it if, you could get a hold of Modern English and so I could get the permission to use the pictures if nothing else. And I said, well, sure, I'm still friends, and I can say it that way. I said, I'm still friends with Mick Conroy from the band. So, about a week later after I did that, I posted a picture, a little message, kind of a general message, but then at the bottom I said, and the thing that led to this was the Modern English pictures. So Mick Conroy, if you see this, and I tagged him, they'd love to talk to you. So Mick messages me and says, yeah, I had a lovely time in Nebraska when I was a young man. Which leads to these other conversations, about my music and his music, playing with the Lush members now. So this is very significant for me, living here in Omaha, still, living in an atmosphere where people of color are discounted in the Midwest horribly. I will always speak out about this. It's, if you follow me on Facebook, you see what I've been saying. And I've been through some horrible things at the hands of the authorities, you know what I'm saying, as I've come up through the years, through my civil rights work and also through my work in the mental health field. So I feel very, very blessed through the music. This is just the best. Being connected with these people, making this music, being able to share it with you, talk about it, on and on. I'm kind of pissed at myself. I put all those fucking records away. I just was listening to a bunch of Peter Gabriel. It was his birthday. Then someone pointed out to me it was Steve Hackett's birthday. I'll just do this right quick. I know it's over a half hour. Steve Hackett has put out so many records. I couldn't keep collecting. I have some. Here's just some. He has I was looking because he's really active right now. He's got over 26 solo albums. He did the one he did with Chris Squire, signed by Steve Hackett. Someone from Gerald, who lives in Singapore, sent this to me, signed by Steve Hackett. Single. Doll Made in Japan. Another single, Cell 151. Beautiful album, Momentum. And then I have a bunch more CDs, but Bay of Kings, Steve Hackett, along with Alan Holdsworth and John McLaughlin and Jimi Hendrix. Steve Hackett is totally one of my favorite guitarists. Totally. Absolutely. Steve Hackett, Till We Have Faces. Love his playing. Highly Strung. Don't like his singing. Well, his singing's gotten better. Defector. Spectral Mornings. The one he made with the members of Kansas and the Richie Havens. Plus, that's something I'll say. I went ahead and listened to his new album online. Black woman. What's her name? Hoping Love Will Last. Well, Randy Crawford. This is one of her first recordings before she became big in the R&B. I really respect how Steve Hackett tries to pay homage and respect to my people and our music. He does it consistently. There's a piece on his latest album where it's specifically trying to relate. It's funny because those are my least favorite pieces, because it's like I don't need him to do that. This is my perspective. I don't need you to try to play the blues and show me how well you can play the harmonica. He can play it really well. But when he plays his music is when he honors me. Voyage of the Acolyte. This is like one of the best Genesis albums they never made. Okay, I gotta stop. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes to make for this video to another album that I pulled while I was Habibia. What's the other one on the other end? Charlie Hayden, just so you see what's in my... No bullshit on these. There is no bullshit on these shelves.